Good evening. On behalf of the Mercer County Community College Foundation, it is my great pleasure to welcome you to tonight's event and to congratulate our inductees into this inaugural class for the Mercer County Community College Athletic Hall of Fame. We congratulate you, inductees, for not only your wins, your victories, your achievements, but also the values and the effort that you put in to get there. You demonstrated commitment, sacrifice, dedication, teamwork, and so many of the values that we celebrate here at the foundation and at the college. So thank you for setting an example for all of us to follow. So we hope that your example remains a shining light for generations of athletes to come, that they embrace the very best of Mercer, follow in your footsteps, and achieve higher levels of success. Thank you and enjoy the event.
I definitely think that my dad loved Mercer because it was a family. It was comforting. It wasn't like, they were separate, like the soccer team or the basketball team, or, you walked into the athletic department and they were as one.
It's a distinct honor and a privilege for me to be able to talk about my friend Howie Landa.
We have a heavy heart because we're missing our leader, Howie Landa. Howie was a great teacher. He was a great coach. He was a great mentor. Howie really was a close friend of mine. I miss him very much, and I think about him every day.
Aloha from Hawaii. Just wanted to say congratulations to everybody, especially from our grandfather on his behalf.
I wanted to say thank you for Papa always being there for me and watching Phillies games with me, and thank you for the Hall of Famers.
Being a coach, the type of coach he was, I don't know whether he knew it or not, but that, we had family at home. But these guys that played on the team were our family. Howie did that.
Howie was a big influence on me playing. I mean, he gave me a chance to, do what I'm good at doing and playing ball. And I did tell him after we won the first championship, I said, man, we're coming back next year and we're going to get this championship again.
You were his son, you were his daughter, he would embrace that. And people that didn't have, role models as fathers really looked up to that because I believe he gave that so naturally to so many people.
I mean, I loved him like a father. He was a father in many regards to me. My father was a great father, but my grandfather and Howie were my mentors, and Howie never stopped. From the day that he passed, God rest his soul, he never stopped being there for me or any of his players.
Coach Landa, was a very honored, very nice man. He was more like a father to me. He treated me as a son. He always called me son.
Howie Landa not only affected the men's game, but he affected the women's game. There's so many of us that owe a debt of gratitude for his love, his discipline, and his sharing what he knew about the game of basketball and life.
He was just unbelievable what he did with us. We weren't great players and things like that, but we played together.
He was one of the best coaches that I played under.
His passion was to inspire and help other people reach their goals. That was how selfless he was. He did it so often without even thinking.
I'm standing here, on Howie Landa's court. He always called me son, and in which, he was like a dad to all of us, not only to myself, but he had a relationship with each one of us individually. And, and the relationship was all about, being successful and respecting people, you know, he gave us his heart, and you know, and I'm very proud of him, and I'm giving him mine.
It was a bond that was just too big to break. It couldn't have been broken no matter what. I followed him, and I would follow him anywhere. If he said, come over here to the, this ledge, I would go with him. I trusted him, and he molded me, basically. I give him credit for a lot of my transformation into the player that I became.
Howie, I know you're up there. I know you're smiling. And let's celebrate our friend, Howie Landa.
It means the world to me. And I want to thank my mom for supporting my father passionately with all her passion and glory, and always being his interpreter of foreign languages when he needed it. And I just miss them dearly, both of them. So thank you for honoring my father.
After 58 years, it seems like it feels good to be remembered.
This doesn't happen too often. I mean, to win a national championship, to be the first team in the school's history to win a national championship.
We weren't all a full team of soccer players. We had soccer players, and we had a mixture of basketball players.
There were other guys on that team that rose to the occasion, and we played as a team, and that's why we won.
We had Jack Massarelli. We had Lou DeTana. We had Buddy Edlow, who was our goalie. He was a baseball star, but he could throw the ball 3/4 of the field. Most guys can't kick it that far. It's like, they all blend it right in.
I attribute the success of the team to Coach Dlugosz.
Coach Dlugosz was a special coach. He had a way of bringing people out above, play better than they thought they were capable of playing. He was a great motivator, and he was a perfect role model.
One year when we started practice, we didn't even touch a ball for the first week. We were over Wetzel Field. We did calisthenics. We ran. We just got ourselves into shape. And then after that, he had specific drills that we would do to help us with our ball control. And we always played our hardest for him.
He was one of the first ones to institute a defense with 4 backs and a sweeper, who was Ronnie Hook at the time. Mr. Soul just passed away.
It was a sad day the other day. My co-captain, Ron Hook, passed away. And he and I, we went to, we got scholarships to the University of Maryland together. And we played at Maryland for a couple of years, and we stayed in touch all these years. Everybody loved Ronnie. He never had a bad word to say about anybody. He was friends with everybody. Like I said, he was just a fantastic person, and he's going to be missed. The championship game was against Mitchell from Connecticut. The game previously was against a school from North Carolina, a little Baptist college, that was the team to beat, and we beat them 6-0. So we went into that championship game pretty confident. Mitchell was a tough team. They provided a lot of competition for us, and the game it was 3-3, as I remember.
When we played that team to a 3-3 tie, they're probably the best team we played, all season. They definitely were a good team, and we went back and forth in regulation time. I think it was 3-3 in regulation time, and we went 2 overtimes, 2 10-minute overtimes, and we went into the sudden death.
During the sudden death overtime, it was back and forth. And I remember we had they didn't have throw-ins at the time. They had kick-ins. And we had the ball around midfield. And Steve Dotsey, who had a really good foot, was going to take the kick in. And I don't know what came over me, but I went over to Dotsey and I laid back a little. Everybody was all piled into the 18-yard box. And I told Dotsey, I says, don't kick the ball into that box. I says, I'm going to be at midfield. I says, just tap it across. And I says, I'm gonna just run up and get it. I says, and that's what he did. And I just hit the ball solid. And I remember the ball just sailing and going into the upper right-hand corner. And of course, we all went crazy.
Well, I'll tell you, it was like an out-of-body experience. When he hit that, it just kind of curved in from his right side. It curved into the net, and it was like unbelievable. I think I remember doing a handspring after the ball went in. But it was just a great feeling. I will tell you, it was probably more impactful later on as we got to really think about what this team had done.
There's so many great teams, national championship teams that came through Mercer, but we were the first. We were the first, and everybody on our team knows that. And I think they're really appreciative of being recognized for their efforts.
Thank you to the nominating committee for selecting the 1973 National Basketball Champions to be inducted into Mercer's first Athletic Hall of Fame. This is a great, great group of men. I am so proud of them. They were always great on and off the court.
Shout out to the great Howie Landa.
When we first got to Mercer, it was on a Thursday, and Howie didn't have a place for us to stay. We had the opportunity and the ability to look out for each other for the first month and a half before we even stepped on the floor. I think that's what made that team so special, other than the unlimited talent.
Communication between everybody on the team. It was knowing where Richie Frida was going to be, knowing where Jerome was going to be, knowing what Connie was going to do, what Mel was going to do, knowing that if he they got a rebound and Jerome threw it out, no matter who he threw it to, we know that Melvin was going to be the first one down court, so we know where he was going to be.
I also would like to give a shout out to some of the people who were behind the scenes that helped us to be very successful in 1973. Al Leister, who was the athletic director, did a great job. Thank you, Al. There was Carol Gibalisco. There was Zina Kuznarik. There was George O'Gorman. There was my wife, Brenda. There was Jimmy Ram. There was Glenn, Goober, Greg. All of these people did such a wonderful job to help make us successful in 1973.
Another is my dear friend and teammate, Michael Richbo, who will not be able to make it this evening because of a real pretty bad illness.
I was a role player, you know. I didn't play. I played maybe half the games. I didn't play a heck of a lot, but I had the absolute pleasure, opportunity to cover the best guard in the country in Melvin Weldon.
I wasn't the leader scorer in that game that we played, the championship game. I wasn't the leading scorer. Richie Frida was the leading scorer of that team, that game. You know, although I had about 10 assists, giving him the ball, you know, cutting back door and doing various other things, you know, he and I. Connie White fouled out in that game. Jerome Young fouled out in that game.
They quickly got 4 fouls on me real fast. Maybe they didn't want me to play. Maybe they said, well, let's get him so, you know, we could win the game. So, yes, when I got into the game, they just started calling fouls on me. I ain't gonna say bogus fouls, but they called fouls on me quick.
Steve Shear and Bill Kaufman are the ones that came up big in that game because, because we didn't have our leading scorer, who was Connie White during that time, and our leading rebounder, who was Jerome Young. And those two guys, Steve Shear and Bill Kaufman, you know, they just brought it on home. All I had to do was just control what was going on out here in the front of the court, and which I did because I was thinking like Howie. And that's how he had us conditioned.
My dear friend, Jimmy Ram, the greatest statistician, I feel, of all times.
It was an honor that we won the game, and we were the first team on the East Coast. Nobody on the East Coast has ever won the junior title.
If you've not had an opportunity to see what a national championship ring looks like, it was beautiful in 1973, and it's beautiful today.
It's hard to describe how happy it is to get down there and get inducted, see everybody, most of all.
Without Connie, without Jerome, without any one of those guys on that team, we wouldn't have won the championship because we wouldn't have been together. And Howie brought us all together.
Number one player in 1999 was Dinia Agrawala.
I think it's just a complete surprise that I somehow made it into a Hall of Fame in a different country, coming from Germany, and then got to Mercer. They had a tennis team. I'm like, oh yeah, hell yes, I'm going to play on this. And then to actually get to this level of competing on a national stage, it's just mind-blowing. And to actually go home with a trophy is like unforgettable. I mean, there's really nothing else I can say about that.
Because everyone in their flights had buys the first day, Dinia was our only member playing, and she set the tone for 1999. She spent 9 hours on the tennis court. And the thing with Dinia playing that match is, everybody was going to give their all the rest of the tournament after seeing what she left out on the court. It was amazing.
It's a real dream come true for me because I never thought I would even swing a tennis racket in my life. So this is just great. Thank you.
Our number two player, Gina Trischetti.
I remember one time, I don't know who we were playing, but we played at Mercer County Park, and Mark was like, oh, you're playing center court today. I didn't like all the attention. I didn't like playing center court. I wanted to be in the back where no one saw me. I got on the court, and I was always nervous when I got on the court, but I was playing this girl, and she had this attitude that she was going to beat me. I smoked her. I don't remember the score, but I want to say it was 2 sets, definitely.
Gina and I had a deal during the national tournament. It was, Coach, you make me nervous. As long as I'm winning, stay away from my court. Gina won every single singles match she played. I didn't see her one bit except for practices during that tournament.
Mark and Ralph, without them, I mean, I doubted myself a lot, and they gave me the confidence that I needed to realize that I was as good as I was.
Number three player, Valerie Cooney.
I couldn't believe how well we did in all the tournaments and getting an opportunity to go to Arizona. And then the second year when the whole team, took first place, it was awesome.
She was a warrior on the court, played lots of 3-set matches.
I was the queen of 3-hour matches. I was the queen of 3 sets. I just would always have these crazy first sets where I would win, and then like an intense second set, and then I would like end up losing, and it would always go into that third set, and it would just be like so stressful. A lot of highs, a lot of lows, a lot of frustrations of like, oh my God, why am I not winning right now and finishing this game? And it just would go on and on and on.
We knew the longer it went and the more she had to grind, the better she would do each time. Number 4 player was Karen Hollywood. Karen was extremely dedicated, extremely motivated. Anytime a ball went up in the air for an overhead for Karen, she had one of the best overheads I've ever seen in 23 years. It was money. Number 5 player was Barb Pleva.
To win a national championship is unbelievable. I want to thank my children who were all at Auburn University in Alabama, and they drove the 16 hours from college to come and greet me and congratulate me on my national championship. They were as excited as I was. They said I supported them and took them to all their sports. So,
one thing I wanted to say about Barb Pleva, there's no one else who would do more for another person for any reason or no reason whatsoever. Naomi Okubu, she became our number 6 player on the team.
I would like to thank you to all my coach and teammate. Have a wonderful experience during the college. I'm from Japan, and then I didn't know anybody when I came to New Jersey, and then it's like I feel like I have the first like a best friend. I made it in the team. So I really thank you so much for opportunity. I really thank you to the school. Also, they have a great opportunity to join the team.
By the end of the year, I referred to Naomi as our secret weapon. He just had a really great mentality on the court, was always very calm, just such a team player. I'm not supposed to have favorite teams, not supposed to have favorite players, but this is a favorite team, and all 6 are favorite players.
The one thing I know is that I know he was inducted into the Mercer County Soccer Hall of Fame years ago, and I know that he'd be beyond proud of being inducted into the inaugural Mercer County College Hall of Fame because he started the tennis and soccer programs back in the mid-'60s. So I know he would be beyond proud, and he's smiling down on us right now with the honor. I know that from my own experience.
Yeah. I mean, the tennis program, well, both soccer and tennis, he did start both programs.
I was lucky enough to play for my father back in 1993. Going into the year, I was scheduled to play top 6 singles. You have 6 singles, 3 doubles. And all year, I played 6 singles and second doubles. And a week before regionals, my father did something which you don't see other parents do when it comes to coaching their kids. And that's a week before regionals, he put me on the bench and he put someone else in the lineup because they deserve to play more than me. And because of that decision, we ended up going to nationals. If I played, I probably don't win my spot and we don't go to nationals. But because my father made that decision and he thought about the team first, we ended up going to nationals.
So soccer's a different sauce, we should say. He started the program when it was Trenton Community College. As a kid growing up, going to Zimmer Field under the lights, Mercer County Park under the lights, bringing my ball and just watching some of the games. But he really made me a part of the team, and that was which made me actually help me with soccer because growing up, I'd go to the practices, actually be involved with the practices, and actually involve my skill set to be a decent soccer player. Not as good as him, but good enough to have some fun and earn my name. The little things growing up really, he made a big influence. I ran a restaurant for years now. And some of his players actually came up to me, and a couple years before he passed, they would come up and ask how he was doing. So for guys to come all over the country, all over the state, all over the Tri-State area to come up and just ask, hey, how's your dad doing? He actually touched some guys' hearts. And, stories like he took guys off the streets in Philly and made them to who they were now. It wasn't just about soccer. It was about their lives. And that touched me and never really hit me because I was young when I was there. Now when I'm older, realizing these guys, he was a mentor more than a coach, and that means a lot.
And he only got good guys. He didn't care about the most talented players. He wanted about chemistry and hard work, and he installed that in both of us and countless others. And we were spoiled enough to have him as a father and a coach.
First off, I want to thank the committee. I want to congratulate and also thank the inductees. The 4 coaches that are going into the Hall of Fame were role models of mine, and many of the players were guys that I looked up to. Mel Weldon, and I can't wait to meet Connie White. Al Leister, when you hired me, you changed my life, and it's a thrill and an honor to be inducted with you in this class. I want to talk about the team and the players. I'm going to steal a line from a Beach Boys song. God only knows what I'd be without you. Certainly not going into a Hall of Fame tonight. For my mentors, Manny Shellshot, Mooch Mardick, Bob Bradley, and my colleagues, Jim Barlow, Dan Dunnigan. I hit the jackpot when I was able to get in with you guys and learn so much from the game. For our staff, Carol Jablisco, for you, and all the other staff that I worked with under the years, Joe Seck, Pat Snyder, Paul Taname, the Big Four, Larry Povia, Lisa Camillone, Billy Daly, and John Petrowski. I want to finish up talking about my family, Last month, we lost someone very important to us, my mother-in-law, Sally Ashman. She was everything to us. We love you, Mom. My parents weren't athletic. I didn't come from a lot, but they did everything they could. My parents were really supportive of Mercer soccer. My dad actually ran a concession stand one year. I think it got shut down when some guy got salmonella, but everything I've ever done is to make you proud. Want to thank my sister and her husband Jay for being here, and their family, the Millers, for all their support, as well as my Ashman family, my in-laws. Lynn, unlike Rich Fisher, you don't like to be in the spotlight, but you are the best coach in the family, the best parent, the best person. I'll take the line, God only knows what we'd be without you, and times that by 100. Thank you for all your support, and I love you. Haley, you were born a day before the national tournament in 1997, and 3 days later, we lost in the championship game. So, but every day since then has been amazing. I love your spirit. I love how you champion for the underdog. CJ, 2 weeks from tonight is going to be your 21st birthday. Who would have ever dreamed 21 years ago that you would have turned out to be the amazing young man that you are? Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Mercer.
I think my dad's best and brightest memories were on that field. I remember being there as a little guy.
I played for him in 1981, and I wanted to congratulate him for making the Hall of Fame. It was a very deserving award for him and his family. I played a lot of baseball over the years, and Butch was one of those guys that I have to put that in my top 1 or 2 years that I played.
He was sort of an old school coach, and that is that he didn't tell the players how to play. He let us play. I can't remember any instances of him critiquing someone's swing or teaching them how to play a curveball or pitch a curveball. But one of the things I got out of that was personal accountability. If you didn't perform well, there were no excuses. After all, the coach didn't tell you how to play. And as I grew older and became an adult, I think personal responsibility and accountability are really important things. One of the other things I really remember about Butch is he rewarded merit.
Underneath that really tough exterior, there was a lot of love there for the players and what he did.
I had weaknesses in my game, but he would come out early in the mornings before practice even started and work with me on those. And it was just what he did.
I think, really more than anything, I think he loved being a coach, being around those players, providing mentorship, being there for them on the field, off the field, being an influence in their life, lifting them up, helping them believe in themselves. I think that's where he got the most fulfillment.
In 2015, we had a reunion. Butch came, and we had a really nice night. And then about 2 days later, he sent me an email, which still makes me choke up a little bit to today. And he said it was the highlight of his career. For that to be the highlight of his career sort of cemented for me what I had believed all along, which is it was always about the players.
Very happy that he made this. I'm very happy for his family. We all miss him.
It's a great honor, and I am grateful to the college for honoring my father in this way. I know it would mean a tremendous amount to him. It means a lot to me, and want to say thank you.
Mercer, right from the first day I came here, I felt very, very comfortable. People were very welcoming, and everybody tried to help everyone. That's why I really do enjoy coming on the campus every day. It is a very comfortable environment. I really enjoyed scoring goals. That was my thing. I just felt that every time I scored a goal, I got a rush, and I shared that with my teammates. One of my favorite memories is just going to our overnight tournaments and the nationals with my teammates. I wanted to thank my mom for being there with me through my entire playing career, as well as my coaching career. She's a strong woman, and I wouldn't be here without her.
Hi, Coach Dime. It is Mia Hamm. Katie and Carlo reached out to me, and I just want to say congratulations on being inducted into the Mercer County Community College Hall of Fame. I hear you were a soccer star at Mercer County College and at Rutgers, that you hold the scoring records. Listen, we are so proud of you. Katie and Carlo love you and are so proud of all your accomplishments. I want to say thank you for being such a huge fan, and know that your service to the beautiful game is greatly appreciated. So congratulations. Enjoy this. You've earned it.
I had a career in high school that was short-lived. I started late. I was a late bloomer. And because of my height, obviously being 6 foot, when I played basketball, it was extremely tall. I mean, now it's commonplace. So I did have a lot of points accumulated in high school, but it was just merely because of size. I still had a way to go to grow. So I ended up at that point, it was a random opportunity that Howie Landa had basketball camps in summer in Pocono Pines. So I went to those camps, and I remained to go to those camps almost every summer. Thus my association with Howie, who was a godsend to me. He was an angel sent to me, who he just worked day in and day out and day in and day out and day in and day out with me to improve. So that was kind of that bond we had. It just followed to Mercer. I couldn't disconnect it. He was just bigger than life. So that was kind of my connection to Mercer. I, first of all, appreciate the honor to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, especially the inaugural Hall of Fame. That's just amazing. It will always be the first. I'm honored and I'm humbled. I feel um, so grateful. I feel grateful for the people that acknowledged me. I have amazing family. I feel grateful for the support of a strong family. My husband came to me late in my life, and I think it was just he's my North Star. I would also like to appreciate and be respectful to the people that put everything together, because it was a hard year for us, and to be able to go through and put a beautiful ceremony and unify everybody together on the same page took a lot of hard work, and I appreciate all the hard work that everyone put in to put this beautiful program together as well.
It's definitely an honor. I mean, there's so many people who have went to this school, and a lot of good people, teammates with me and coaches. I mean, I'm just thankful to be able to be a part of it for the 2 years that I was, and to be able to meet the people that I did within coaches and teammates. I mean, I'm just so thankful to have gone through Mercer. I actually went to Keene University for a couple weeks out of college. Just realized it wasn't the fit for me, and um, Russ Stupinski was kind of the biggest recruiter for me. Yeah, he was the kind of the mastermind to all of it. And he wanted to, he was interested in me since I was in high school, and got me going to Mercer, and everything seemed to fit kind of once Keene didn't end up working out, and thankfully things ended up working out really well. So I thank Stoop every day. When we finally got the bid to go to the World Series and go on that bus trip we were waiting all so long for. Um, when we got the dog pile, for the region championship was probably the best memory I think that we all have of Shane Monahan. I feel like I could see it. You know, I feel like I could see that last play. Still in my head. Ground ball to third. Shane Monahan throws it a little short to Steven Todd, and Steven Todd does what he always does and picks it at first, and then we all dog pile, and it was just a surreal feeling, and I got goosebumps thinking about it right now. I'm so thankful for a lot of people. I mean, I could go on all day and thank a million people who have helped me got to where I am, because I know that I wouldn't be to where I am and be able to have the opportunities that I have ahead without the people who have helped me. But I guess if I could shorten it, it would definitely be my parents. Throughout everything, my parents have always been there. Even when I've been a knucklehead and at my best moments, my parents have always been there to have my back and support me no matter what. Not to mention the coaches I've had, Russ, Stu, Z, Freddie. I mean, just the whole staff. I mean, everybody just helped me out so much and to try to make me a better baseball player, but overall, just a better person. So I'm just thankful for everybody.
Nah, I played soccer here in 1968 and 69. Wanted to be a design draftsman. Lou Angebrandt, he was my coach out there at the Lawrence. He taught me drafting, and he mentioned Mercer to me, and I knew they had a excellent drafting and design program. Plus, a really good friend of mine, Joe Seck, he recruited me. When I was coming in as a freshman, Kenny Hess was here, Solarski was here, so there was a lot of really, and I knew about the soccer program here. It was second to none. And so that's why I chose Mercer. I couldn't say enough good things about Mercer County Community College. I could be here till tomorrow morning, and the words aren't good enough for Mercer County. I really think that the community colleges are hidden treasures for kids. If there was such a thing as a Hall of Fame and an All-American hall for community colleges, I definitely think Mercer County Community College would be the first inductee. I think in a kid's life, just as important as your coaches and your parents are mentors. And when I came to Mercer County, I mean, when I think of guys like Coach Dlugosz and Coach Landa, them guys were more important than coaches. They were mentors to me. And I mean, when I think about them, it just chokes me up. In closing, I just want to congratulate all the inductees.
It feels outstanding. I mean, Mercer means so much to me. I'm sure Mercer means a lot to everybody who attended. In my case, it was two of the best years of my life. And I will include my major league career. A lot of people don't understand when you play at high school or you play in college, a lot of times you're playing with your friends. You're hanging out with your friends. Some of my fondest memories away from the field is hanging out with the guys I played with. I know that this evening is for all of us, right? The inductees, and it's the last thing on my mind is myself. It really is. On an evening like this will be it for me. I think about Chris Angemeyer. Chris Angemeyer she taught me first aid class, and she ended up being the trainer of the baseball team, so I got to know her really well. But I paid attention in that class, and I'm so glad that I did. And strangely enough, I still remember in one of the lessons that she said, if you ever come across an issue, an injury, you put pressure on the pressure point between the wound and the heart. And I came across, while I was playing professional baseball, a young man who had an injury on riding a bicycle, and it he tore several arteries and veins on the inside of his elbow. And I happened to be there, and I applied pressure in the pressure point between the wound and the heart, and I stopped his bleeding and saved his life. And I was able to tell Chris after that, and she teared up when I was telling her that true story. I said, you just never know what life is going to do for you and why you take certain paths. But that happened at Mercer County Community College. I took a first aid course, and I'm not even discussing how baseball ended up being my career and how I made my living and supported my wife and 5 children. So that's everything that Mercer did for me. And I could not be more thankful.
Hi, I'm Randy Garber. Attended Mercer County in 1971 and 72. First of all, I'd like to thank the committee for nominating me. It's an honor for me as well as my family. How did I, a player from Abington, Pennsylvania, and Abington High School, end up at Mercer County Community College? The bottom line is I spent too much time playing soccer in high school, and academically, I just did what I needed to do to get by. And come time to pick a 4-year school, my academics was not at the level that they wanted. So my club coach, who coached at the Roslyn Boys Club, Joe Marston, said to me that I think I got a place for you to go, which is going to be a great fit. There's a school called Mercer County Community College with a great soccer program, a great coach in Stan DeLucas. It was just what I needed to play at a higher level in the following 2 years. In high school, I also had a girlfriend who I dated for 3 years. After my second year at Mercer, I ended up marrying this person 46 years later, and 4 beautiful children, 2 of which are here tonight with me. Monica is the reason why I'm here today. I lost her 4 years ago, but I know that if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here today talking to you. In closing, I'd like to congratulate all the inductees. Again, I want to thank you for nominating me for the Hall of Fame, and it's an honor, and I will cherish it for the rest of my life. Thank you very much.
When I was in prep school, I came to Jersey City in the 60s. When I got here, I had to get my shots all over again, and they put me back a grade. I turned 19 in April. Basketball season starts in November, a year too old to play to finish my high school career. My guidance counselor, he said to me, Mel, if you want to continue on playing basketball, we could try to look for a prep school for you, and you can graduate from the prep school. We found Laurel Crest Prep School. I learned more in that 1 year in that prep school than I learned 3 years at Ferris. The basketball team we won the New England Championship. I was a point guard on that team. And then, I wanted to go to Boston University or University of Massachusetts because the couple of guys that played with me on my team got scholarships there. So I came back at home and spoke to my guidance counselor, and he said that Gene Evans and John Ford, who I played with in high school, is going to Mercer County Community College. They enrolled, and I came down. I came down the following week, and it was still registration during that time, and I enrolled also with my friends. And then I came and asked Howie, can I try out for your team? I got on the team, and lo and behold, my life started to change after that, but that's why I came to Mercer. I would like to thank my mother, who stood by me all those years, and my grandmom also. I come from a house of a lot of women. I had 6 sisters, and I had 2 other brothers, who are now passed away. I've been inducted into a number of Hall of Fames, and my last one was the Hudson County Hall of Fame, and my brother attended. And you wouldn't believe that I was the person that was being honored, but he was walking around with the trophy. I really miss him and my other brother also, but I wish they were here. I like to thank Howie Landa. I wouldn't have been able to make All-American or, Player of the Year without my team or, in any one of those awards that I received came from my team.
When I first came to Mercer County, it was an honor just to come to Mercer County and then to meet Howie and, be part of the team and to win 2 national championships. I mean, there's a lot of just memories, I can't think of just one. Coming from Trenton, New Jersey, it ain't the most popular city in the world. And coming to Mercer County, which is basically all white, I wanted to do something for myself. So, my one thing I promised my mother that I was going to get a degree, no matter what, and go to college. So I'm the first of my family to go to a major college and, finish. So yes, I was very studious and I always had a book, always try to do my best. I wasn't the greatest, but I always try to do my best. I wanted to stay close to home because of my mother. It was just me and my mother, and she wanted to see me play. She never saw me play in Berkeley, but so I stayed basically in Mercer County because it was closer and I liked the environment. I mean, when I went to Mercer County to check out the college, I liked it. So that's why I chose to go to Mercer. I like the players. I like the coach. Howard and Pugh was excellent coaches to me. And, I just like just being there. I mean, it was a nice college. I never gave up. I mean, any player that played with me know that I'm going all out. And I expect the same thing from you. So when they see me playing, I'm playing, like I said, I play both defense and offense. So if they see me hustling, that encouraged them to hustle more too. I just wanted to thank Mercer County for just giving me that chance to, to show what I could do. I mean, shout out, I could shout out to the whole school. I mean, they was there for me.
It's very touching. I'm very emotional. So I'm very humbled by it all. And that you guys would even remember all those years ago. I had some of the best times of my life there. Truly. Great friendships, great people, coaches, staff. It was an amazing experience for me. I played 3 sports at Mercer. And, each one was so unique. And the friendships, the people that went there and were elite athletes. This junior college was not just here 2 years, these kids don't know what they're doing. They're not good. We were elite athletes. Okay. I was surrounded by some of the best in Mercer County and all around. And that was one of my main reasons for choosing Mercer. As well as I knew a lot of those girls were my friends. We were unsure about where we were going to go afterwards. And personally, I wasn't ready to, mature enough to go away at that time. So, and I was offered a full scholarship for the first 2 years and, wanted to stay close to home and have my parents, who were my biggest advocates, to come and watch me play. So there were some real reasons why I wanted to come to Mercer County. And I am so grateful for all the coaches and everyone else. And I thank you for this most humbling opportunity.
The field of athletic training was not defined when I was in high school. When I got into college, my Uncle Frank had a stroke, and I saw what they were doing to him in moving his limbs, encouraging other people to propel themselves in their wheelchair, people on walkers, and a variety of physical rehabilitation that was just brand spanking new to me. But once I saw what a physical therapist did, I said, well, that's me, a physical therapist. And then I said, that's an awful lot of school for a physical therapist. I want to be active. I want to be athletic. I went to Montclair State, and I hadn't had too many friends. And the one friend that I met, Jean Moran, said, well, why don't you work in the training room? And poof, it was like a blooming flower. I said, athletic training. So 33 years, 4 months, and 2 days. Probably it comes out to that. I want to thank the athletes that I met on day one. I met dozens and dozens of kids. But I had a crazy idea. I put a map up of the world, and when an international student athlete came here, we put a pin in there where he or she was from. So what I miss is I miss the interaction with the athletes. I miss the intellectual challenge of trying to help someone with an injury and encouraging them in rehabilitation. Comrades that I work with, all the different athletic directors I went and worked through. The latest one was Mr. Simone, and the people that you work with were all there for the students. No one was for themselves. Everyone was for the students, and we worked together. And I miss that. I would like to thank my daughter Andrea for somewhat understanding how much I've missed of her growing up. I've missed some games, I missed some practices, I missed some special events. And I try to make up for that now, Andrea, because you are just an awesome kid. My father never understood what an athletic trainer was. He kept saying, so when are you getting a real job? So when are you getting a real job? But I wouldn't trade many days away from what I had here at Mercer County College and in the field of athletic training. It's a wonderful profession.
My name's Leister. I started at Mercer in 1970 as chairman for health and physical education. Also inherited the position of athletic director. Had the two roles until 1989. At that time, I went to the classroom and stayed in the classroom until 2006. I was coaching at Atlantic Community College. While I was there, I was coaching soccer, and the second year that I coached soccer, the only team we lost to was Mercer. And by having a good soccer team, we had the retention of Mercer personnel, and Howie Landa was the AD at the time, and he called me. So I came up here, and when I saw the potential, the campus was under construction, but Dr. Greenfield showed me the plans for the campus and the plans for the park. And when I saw all that, I said, if there's ever a place where you're going to be able to build a good athletic program, this is the place. Howie Landa and Stan Dlugosz had started the winning tradition back in Trenton Junior College. And all we had to do was build on that tradition. And we were very fortunate to get really good people involved in the program. To have the kind of success we did, you need a lot of cooperation all throughout the college. The faculty and everybody was with us. The highlights with the interactions with the players, and one of the highlights I think is when we interviewed and hired Carol Jabalisco, because she was so important to the operation of what we were doing. Howie Landa nor I were skilled at writing. She made us look better than we were, but she was great. And there were so many people like her that supported the program. There are so many people that I need to thank, and as I mentioned, there are the staff, the coaches, the players at Mercer. Obviously, it was a sacrifice on the part of my family because it required a lot of family time to be here. My two daughters grew up thinking that Thanksgiving was a soccer banquet. I also would like to thank the people that make this night possible, and that would be my cardiologist, my rheumatologist, my gastroenterologist, and my hematologist, and all the other ologists that get involved in keeping me going. So thanks to the committee, and I'd just like to say it's really good to see everybody again, even if I can't remember your name, but it's good to see you. And let's talk after this is over.
I would say, first of all, have fun. Secondly, work hard.
Go to class, get your grades, don't fail. If you're on a sports team, believe me, Mr. Simone will check up on you so bad.
Sports and college forges really strong relationships and friendships. And if you are able to, please carry them into the future, not just for the networking aspect, but for the shared experience aspect.
Enjoy every single experience that you have here at Mercer. It goes by very, very quickly. Make sure you give 100% in everything you do.
What I want to encourage you to do in your downtime, come to the people here in the athletic department, come to Mr. Simone, come to Kier, come to Coach Zagarsky, come to these people who will help you make yourself a better life.
If you have the right foundation in here and you work for it, it will come for you. I think in time.
You know, no matter how tough the situation is, believe in yourself, never give up. Believe that you have some inner strength and you can dig deep and get it done.
Sentences should start with we and not I.
And don't quit, because at that age, if you start quitting at that age, it's easier to quit the second time, whether it's a job or school.
Can't have egos. You know, I'll tell you what, it doesn't make a difference. If you score 50 points and your team loses, team still loses.
If you got a goal, follow through with it and never give up.
Remember to believe in yourself, and you can only control you.
I would say from a student athlete's perspective, the best advice would be take your courses and your credits serious.
You keep on fighting, and when someone knocks you down, you get back even harder.
One of the big things is academics. I mean, a lot of guys don't stick to their academics. If it wasn't for Ron and I having good grades at Mercer when we went there, winning a national championship, making All-American, wouldn't have done us any good because they want to see the grades.
Do your best and just have fun, because that's what it all boils down to.
If you want to be the best, you got to study the best, you know, and just try to stay out of trouble.
Believe it or not, you can't play any sports without, you know, having good grades in college. If not, you will set out.
If your goal is to get into a four-year college, you know what I mean, you have a good opportunity by working hard on our athletic program here and to getting that scholarship, because there are a lot of four-year colleges that keep an eye on Mercer County players.
The most important thing is to get your degree.
Don't let a bad day ruin the next day, and don't think about the long term sometimes, because that could frighten you.
If you keep at it and you give it 120%, things will work out for you.
Do your best, and the result come after it.
Teach the way you would want to be taught and lead the way you want to be led.
Always look for solutions. Don't make excuses, but find solutions and strive for them.
Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life.
I think the most important thing, especially today, is when you make a commitment to something, you have to stick with it. You cannot quit because it gets a little tough.
Every day, reach out to someone whose spirit and soul needs to be lifted.
Enjoy the experience of playing a sport, being involved in the school. It makes you an all-round student, and it's something that will help you in the future.
It's kind of standard advice, but it's never, ever, ever, ever give up.